How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Alemeda linked Run protocol transfers 13 million in Bitcoin to FTX debitors. Run took to Twitter to inform his community that it must transfer the protocol's assets to FTX's debitors, cold wallets. The cryptocurrency assets will be transferred to distinct segregated wallets, cold storage wallets, designated for these assets transferred by Run, separate from other debitor cold storage wallets, reads the announcement. Confusing way to just say, hey, all our funds are going to be separate from everyone else's wallets, and we're going to be doing this. This wasn't something that took the community by surprise, though. The Run protocol lets users create a variety of peg tokens, such as a Bitcoin offering called Run BTC, in order to make it compatible with Ethereum. Alemeda acquired Run by linking FTX with them, so that's how they have this control over them. They said that the transfer only accounts for the liquidity locked in Run 1.0. And Run 1.0 was phased out in the November 2018 update a week after FTX declared bankruptcy, which the team laid out a transition plan to go to Run 2.0 because they knew at some point that FTX would be knocking on the door to gain their funds, and they had until December 18th, 2022 to redeem their holdings for the underlying Bitcoin in any wrapped tokens that they had. So there was about a month window there that they had to redeem their tokens. The team warned holders to burn Run assets as Run 1.0 will be shut down and FTX might claim what is left. And look what happened. They even posted, oh no, everyone's shocked. Bitcoin edges higher as inflation cools more than expected in March. The consumer price index rose 5% in the 12 months through March, the Bureau of Labor Statistics said Wednesday, coming in lower than economists' forecasts. On a monthly basis, the index rose 0.1%, a notable deceleration from 0.4% in February. So that's pretty good. The signal tells the Fed that they could start to pivot, or at least think about pivoting, but I don't know if that would be a smart move, as a decrease in energy prices was cited by the BLS as the major factor for the slowdown, and it got nicer out, so everyone shut their heaters off. You have less energy usage, prices are going to reflect demand. Shelter costs rose 8.2% in 12 months. That being said, I think that demand may increase in the next 2 months as people start driving around in the summer. Shelter costs rose 8.2% in the 12 months through March, while increasing 0.6% on a monthly basis, so shelter out of everything continues to rise. So this affected our CME, as we now have a 7.7% chance increase that we would have no change from yesterday's 72.9%. We dropped to 65.2%. So that's a 7.7% increase here to stay with the current rates that we have. If you're not familiar with what those are, we covered those in last night's video, so refer to that. More than 300 million in Ethereum will be sold after Shanghai, analysts said. This is why I believe that there's going to be a lot of selling pressure coming, and we did see a pretty good drop this morning, probably from some of the validators that were able to do this withdrawal. Analysts at Glassnode estimate that roughly 117,000 Ethereum, worth approximately 326 million, will be sold following today's highly anticipated Shanghai upgrade. The upgrade, known by its consensus layer name Capella, will finally let users withdraw ETH that has been locked up on the Ethereum network for over the last 2 years. Approximately 70,000 ETH will come from validators exiting the network, pulling their staked Ethereum holdings with them, and there are about 253 depositors already waiting to do exactly this. Withdrawals are most likely related to a change in their technical setup rather than exiting their position, so it's not like they're saying, hey, I need out of this technology. They're just saying, I need to reevaluate my holdings now that I am actually able to do so, like they've probably done with other assets before. The remaining 100,000 ETH is expected to come from users withdrawing their staking rewards to sell on the market. Glassnode analysts said that they only expect roughly 133 million worth of ETH to actually become liquid following the activation of withdrawals. So out of all this, they only expect a portion of it to actually stay trading, they expect a lot of it to land in stronger hands and people that are going to end up holding it as people sell to get some profits or diversify their portfolio holdings in ways that they weren't able to prior to this upgrade. Paxos set to withdraw from Canada amid regulatory uncertainty. Paxos, a fintech company that offers blockchain-based solutions for the global financial industry, has announced its decision to withdraw from the Canadian market. The company released a statement on the website informing customers that they will no longer be able to transact from their Paxos accounts starting from June 2nd, except for withdrawing funds. The move comes as Paxos continues to assess its readiness to re-enter the Canadian market in cooperation with the Ontario Securities Commission, OSC, at a future date. So they're saying, hey, we're withdrawing, but we do have plans to come back in the future. So keep that in mind. The announcement also stated that customers' funds would remain safely in their accounts and will be reflected on their account balance, protected by Paxos terms and conditions. I would highly advise not letting anyone hold your funds, not your keys, not your coins. However, the company has urged customers to withdraw all balances from their accounts at their earliest convenience. Customers who don't have funds in their accounts will have their accounts automatically closed on May 9th. On the other hand, customers who maintain a balance on their Paxos account will still be able to access and withdraw their funds after June 2nd. However, they will not have full access to Paxos' platform to initiate new trades. Now, should the regulation someday work in their favor, that could someday change. However, I wouldn't bet on it and I'd withdraw your assets. So here we have the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is a request from Yada to add to our daily routine. What this is something that represents how much of the, how strong Bitcoin is doing. So usually when you get these spikes, you can get some sell-offs. So it'll tell you when there's a lot of people in Bitcoin, and usually Bitcoin will pump up, the dominance will jump up, and then dominance will fall down as people start to sell off and go into altcoins. So you'll have this Bitcoin into altcoins, into like Ethereum, and it'll keep going into this kind of transition. So it kind of moves around. So Bitcoin and total 3 right here. Total 3 is the market cap, which excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this is all the altcoins except the top 2. So that's helpful to kind of see if you're getting like a little altcoin boom or not. So you can see we're at a pretty high area from where we've been. If you look over at Bitcoin, it's kind of hard to tell the same range. Wish it'd stay the same. I'll have to figure out how to get the double chart going on here. But you can see that we've had this big drop where Bitcoin dominance was like super high and then everyone sold off. And when you get these highs, people start to sell usually. This 100% was probably before altcoins. So this chart's probably a little inverse of what you'd expect to see the Bitcoin price chart doing. As dominance would be dropping, price may start to inch up, but you could ultimately see it drop as dominance starts to keep falling out. So we'll take a look here. If you notice, we get these highs and we've had some sell-offs after we get to this level. So we've had 3 different sell-offs around this range to prevent us from breaking up into a higher dominant range where there's more money in Bitcoin. This means that we could see a sell-off at this point, and Bitcoin could drop down to lower prices like we've seen before. This is probably in those 20k ranges where we've had our highs and lows. This is Saturday, June 22nd. So if we look for June 22nd here, June 22, so June 22, we had that big drop from this level. So you can kind of see that this range that we're looking at mirrors the range we're in Bitcoin. So every time Bitcoin's managed to pump up, we've had a sell-off, and it's probably gone into altcoins. Now, if we apply our market cipher, we can try and see what market cipher will tell us about Bitcoin. We have a red dot here, this diamond, that signals bearish pressure is coming. Stochastic is trying to roll over. Our VWAP's starting to roll over. Stochastic is the strength in our RSI. Our RSI is the relative strength index. See our trading basics videos to explain these indicators. We'll explain these market cipher indicators soon, as we've been getting a lot of requests, and I'm sorry I haven't made a video sooner. Our momentum is the momentum of like buying and selling pressure coming in. So if momentum is very low and price is very high, typically that's manipulation. We'll get to that in our video and cover that a little later, but keep that in mind for now. Our money flow is this green. That signals our trend. We are in a bullish trend as we are green above this neutral line right here. We are heading up, so that is positive, but we are getting this red candle printing. That could start to bring us down. This is the daily candle, so that daily dominance is starting to drop as people are probably selling. Like I said, that Shanghai upgrade probably is going to contribute to it. If you skip that, you might want to go back to at least that previous news article on it. So now we'll look at total here, where all our altcoins are, and it looks very similar, where we've gone to this range here, and we've had sell-offs from this range. So that indicates, and our momentum is getting that lower movement that I just mentioned, where momentum is coming down, but price is coming up. That is two things. Momentum is waning, so we don't have as many people trading and pushing the price up, and it is a bearish divergence, which could signal price action downwards. So keep those in mind. So our stochastic's trying to run up, our RSI is kind of flattening out, our stochastic's giving our RSI strength, but doesn't want to go anywhere. Money flow is starting to come out of the altcoins. This is the altcoins minus Ethereum. VWAP is heading down, and our momentum's starting to curl out. So we could get some sort of rollover into stable coins, it's looking, because if our altcoins are dropping and Bitcoin's dropping, the only other place is stable coins or hard fiat currency. Over on Bitcoin, we're starting to set some sell pressure. We're down to 30K where we said we'd be yesterday. I'm no magician, it just happened that way. Momentum's starting to roll over, stochastic's starting to roll over, RSI is starting to point down, our money flow is starting to head down, and our VWAP is starting to head down. We just gave a previous explanation on the Bitcoin dominance of what all this means, so please refer to that until we make our future video. So overall, that's looking pretty bearish on the daily. You can see this 4 hour, we had our wedge that we broke down from, that we signaled yesterday. Pretty much broke down right where we were saying it would. And then we slid since. So let's see if we can make any kind of pattern from this. That could be a little bit of a descending wedge here, which would be a bullish pattern. So we may get a little bit of a retracement. Probably not an exciting retracement. Probably retouch that 30K level and kind of get smacked. So we may try and go lower. If we try and break out from like an area from here, we may try and get a little to like this node that we have here. And if we're not able to set up more green candles on this node and higher, then that's where you could see your pullback, and we could start to fall and fill that CME gap we've been talking about for quite some time. We are above our value area high on our volume profile, so keep that in mind, as well as when you're above the value area high, usually you'll get corrections down. Previously we got wicks, but here we got quite a bit of a breakout. This is our point of control here. If we keep ranging in the zone, I'll probably set a volume profile, which if we go here, fixed range volume profile, drag it from this candle on, and I already have some defaults set. Refer to my trading basics and you can see how I have those defaults set. So you'll see we're below our value area low for this little breakout range we have, which if we aren't able to reclaim this, which currently we're getting stopped away from, that could signal that we would lose this zone. But this typically means when you get below it that you could snap back up and fill higher. But that's typically means that you don't have like lower gaps to fill, like that 28K gap we talked about. So overall, this is kind of rounding out on the 4 hour. Momentum's starting to round out, stochastic's coming down, RSI's starting to head down. Our money flow's trying to come up even though price is coming down. The last couple candles it's kind of flattening out. Our VWAP is starting to reject away even though price is trying to come up. So even though price is heading up, our trends are saying, hey, we're getting pretty bearish here. Over on the 2 hour, we had a bearish divergence on our momentum that broke us down a little bit. Nothing too exciting. RSI is heading down as it's losing strength. Our stochastic is pretty beat down and staying in this oversold area. Our VWAP tried to break up, got rejected. It's currently on its way to attempt another breakup. If it gets rejected again, maybe then we'll see some volatile action. And that's where we could get sucked right back into this golden pocket. And then if we get sucked back in, we could easily just flush right out of it. Again, this is a zone where we have a lot of manipulation when you're trading with these golden pockets, and things can get really unpredictable. So we are starting with a new doji candle, kind of pulling away from here, losing strength. If we did break a little bit above that point control here at the last second on this 2 hour. I thought the 4 hour was below it. 4 hour we're slightly below, so if we can get above it, that would be a positive sign. On the 2 hour we are above it. This could be a hammer candle, which could indicate we go up. But watch out because it's also a long lower shadow candle, so you'd want to wait for the next candle to confirm. But if we get that bullish move up, that could be our breakout of this wedge that we have. Our momentum's heading down, but it could start to curl up here. Our VWAP, like I said, is trying to make another attempt up, so watch for that. Over on the 1 hour, money flow is well in the bullish territory overall. We are getting some kind of waviness and a little bit of tapering off here at the end. So that is a little cautionary, as when you start to taper off, usually that's when you start to break down and come into the red zone. So that's something to watch for the next several candles. Stochastic's making lower highs, about to make a bearish cross and could head down. RSI is trying to head up, making higher lows, but we're gonna have to kind of see what's gonna happen. Our momentum tried to push up, but we're getting a red dot that is invalidating that, but now we're getting a green candle that could try to invalidate the red dot, so we've got a lot of indecision going on right now. Probably best not to open any positions for like a long or a short until you have a good idea of where you feel the market's going to be going. Over on graph, we did break above the support. Well, we broke down below it, but we managed to come back above it, and we have a long upper shadow or long lower shadow candle here, which is a bullish candle. So I don't know why I said it was bearish here. It's bullish candle both cases. Losing my mind apparently, but so we do have a long lower shadow candle. Sellers tried to push us lower, but they ultimately failed. Kind of like a long upper shadow is where buyers tried to push us higher, but ultimately failed. So when you get these long wicks, they are like a temporary push up, because usually when you get candle wicks, you'll get candle bodies to fill those wicks later. So if you pump up from some candle wicks down, odds are eventually you'll come and fill those back down. Stochastic looks like we could get a bearish cross here. RSI is kind of starting to weaken and doesn't know where it wants to go. Momentum's starting to roll over. VWAP's testing that neutral zone. And our money flow tried to come up and got rejected, but it could try to come up again. We'll have to watch if it could successfully come up and test the bullish zone or not in the next few days. Over on the 4 hour, our VWAP did break bullish, but it's pretty flat, so not much strength there. Our momentum wave broke bullish, but can't really see it. VWAP you can't really see. So even though we broke bullish, we're not really breaking bullish very strongly currently, so I don't have too much faith in this unless we start getting some momentum here. Our stochastic's heading up, RSI is trying to head up, so somewhat looking alright, but the 2 hour, we're getting a bearish cross and could come down, so we could get some short-term relief down. If we break the support with that, then that could be a bearish sign for us. Our VWAP overall is coming down, but trying to flatten out here. Our money flow is trying to test that neutral zone. So the next couple of candles are going to be pretty pivotal here to determine which way we could go. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic's trying to run up, RSI is trying to head up, momentum's trying to curl up, our money flow is trying to head up, and our VWAP's trying to head up. So this is looking pretty decently. If this can maintain and keep going, then it is possible we'll get a push off of the support zone here. However, if we start to roll over here and get some bearish signals, then it's likely we could break support and come under. So just be cautionary, especially with the total market cap coming out on altcoins. These few coins we're covering right now would be affected. Our stochastic's starting to head down and could make a bearish cross here on the daily. Our money flow is overall heading up and trying to maintain an upwards trend. Momentum's heading up. Our VWAP's kind of flattening out here. So VWAP medium term is signaling we are starting to lose some steam. We have an up channel here. Up channels are bearish patterns that can break us down. I forget where the parallel channel. Rough out parallel channel there. And we could get a rough break up to possibly 3.6 if we are able to break out of this channel. So watch for that. Kind of have the channel sloppy, so if you're going to draw it a little better than I did. But that's how you would do it. So overall, the 1 hour, the stochastic's looking like we could lose strength here, but everything else is trying to push up. If we start getting red dots, then that could be concerning. But this stochastic, you'll want to see it kind of bend away or make a bearish cross and then make a bullish cross on the next candle or so, and then push up. So for XRP, wow, broke down pretty bad. This is a bearish candle setup that we have here, so we could see more downside, which isn't really good for us. Probably a lot of people selling because they're mad that there hasn't been much news with the case and it was expected to have been resolved by now. So probably a lot of people getting worried that it could be negative for the XRP community. But if you look here, despite that, we have a rising triangle that could break us up to this other Fibonacci level here. So that could take us away. Is that our golden? That's the start of our golden pocket zone. So if we broke into that and we kept going up, we could see some manipulation in this 80-85 cent area, kind of like we're seeing with Bitcoin. So just keep that in mind for the future. So our momentum, we're getting a red dot here that could confirm and bring us down. Stochastic could make a bearish cross. Our money flow is crossing bearish and our VWAP is crossing bearish. So overall, the daily is not looking too good for XRP here. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we're kind of broken away from our triangle. So that's not a good sign, as we could invalidate it. Oops. If you want, you could probably draw these out a little further and include some of these wicks. But then you'd want to make this a little... So you could draw a little cleaner here, but be a little bit longer. I don't think it'd take that full time to break out because that is an extremely long time, and usually you'll get your 3 touches to the top and you break out before then. Usually 3 touches. Sometimes you do go all the way to the tip, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you don't get the tip. So our momentum is heading down, could curl up. Stochastic's trying to make a bullish cross. Our money flow is trying to curl up. VWAP's trying to curl up. RSI is trying to head up. So the 4 hours looking like we could get a bit of a push up. It's 2 doji candles with this red candle and the green candle. This is a kind of a rounding pattern. So that is a sign that we could get a move up, at least for the candles. So the 2 hour, our stochastic's running up. RSI is starting to come back and recover with that stochastic recovering, so it is starting to gain its strength and gain its momentum back. Our VWAP is trying to head up. Our money flow overall is heading down though. Our momentum wave is trying to come up, so we'll need that money flow to start to come in if all these signals are going to keep moving up. And on the 1 hour, our money flow is well in the bullish territory. This needs to maintain, that way it can carry over to the 2 hour. Our momentum's coming up. Watch out for it to try and round out. It's kind of looking like it could try, but our RSI is heading up. Stochastic could make a bearish cross and take a little bit of a relief here. If that does happen, that doesn't mean we're going to drop, as long as it doesn't break that 30 neutral zone right around here, because it would still be in bullish territory, anything above that. So overall, we're looking pretty decent for a move up, but we're going to need these 1 hour indicators to keep going and not start to wane off. Over on the daily for algo, we're rejecting from our point of control. We have manipulation X, very similar setup here to XRP, so I'm not going to bother explaining that. RSI has a bearish divergence and is heading down, and so does our stochastic, so we're getting some bearish pressure here. Momentum's coming down pretty sharply with a red dot, and our VWAP is in the bearish zone with money flow rejecting away. So we have a lot of selling pressure on algo happening again. 4 hour, our money flow is maintaining in the bullish zone. We'll just need that to carry over to the daily if we're going to get some moves up. So this may be one of the last sweeps down, as a lot of the FUD hopefully around my algo has disappeared, but every once in a while I still see people a little ruffled by it. That's why we're going to cover how you can custody your own coins safely with your ledger, so hopefully you had yours ordered after you watched our first video on our Crypto 101 playlist. Our momentum's trying to head up, VWAP's trying to head up, our money flow is trying to head up, and our stochastic's trying to head up with our RSI. So overall, we're looking like we could get a push up from here on the 4 hour. We'll want some sort of a green dot to kind of confirm that, and watch how everything else is signaling. Over on the 2 hour, our money flow is in the bearish zone, so watch out. Our momentum's starting to round off. Our VWAP is losing strength. Our stochastic's starting to kind of lose some strength, and our RSI is kind of zigzagging and having some trouble getting above this zone here. So overall, we look like we could start to lose some strength here if we don't get some momentum. Could be a little bit of a ascending triangle that could get a little bit of a breakup to test this resistance area, local resistance here, so that could be positive. We'll have to watch for that. Over on the 1 hour, momentum is making higher lows and coming up, so that's positive. VWAP's heading up, and our money flow is trying to maintain bullish momentum. Stochastic's trying to head up, and our RSI is trying to head up. So the 1 hour, we are trying to fight and maintain. Hopefully we can keep pushing forward and this FUD can subside. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.